Hello everyone, good day. I am Amira from the Bachelor's of Landscape Architecture program, second year UPM, and today I would like to share with all of you about the studio project that we were working for the past few months already now. So a little background on the site. The site is actually the Kuyoh River, which starts at Taman Sri Serdang from a small lake and dissolves itself in the Klang River. About this site, why this site is because it is seen as one of the abandoned spaces where it's very polluted and not taken care of. Even the neighborhood which lives around the Kuyoh River actually don't even approach this space, but it is actually very potential to be turned out into something and involve the community with it. So the concept that I chose for this particular project is the reincarnation of the emerald. This concept simply means that I refer the Kuyoh River and its surrounding as the gemstone, which is the emerald, and the features found in this master plan is actually looking like the physical characteristic of the gemstone itself. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I will show the close-ups of each and every space. I don't have anyone to record the video for me, therefore I have to turn the camera over. Let's watch. Okay, so this is the site as an overall, how it looks. So let's go one by one to all the spaces found in this master plan. Okay, so this is the main car park, which is easily accessible from the highway. Take a left and another left to access the main area of this park. Now this whole area is called as the green infant. Now why green infant is because the word infant means a starting to everything, for growth, for development, and it is a reference point to everything that is coming up. So I feel that this main car park and its surrounding should be the starting or a reference point for the users when they visit this park. So let's just imagine ourselves as visitors. Right after parking our car and we head towards the park, this is actually a overhead space which is around 5 meters above ground level. This is the ground level right here, and this design is actually inspired by the edges of the emerald gemstone, and is also an inspiration from the arc from Bandar Ring Bayu by Garis Architects. So it's one of the upcoming and popular designs found in Malaysia, and it is inspired by that particular architecture. So right here we can find lawns. These green spaces are lawns and with some trees. This is the Ficus benjamina tree, and these are actually the walkway. Okay, the access. This is where the main access starts, and these are also spaces where people can actually gather and talk around and spend time. So from here, I have proposed some climbers which actually weep down to the ground level, and I have proposed the old man beard plant, and it can grow long up to 6 meters. Yeah, so that is it all about, and from here we can actually get a view to the opposite side of the site. Okay, so let's go to the top part from this main area, which is the green infant. Okay, we shall move on to the forest revive. Okay, this is the forest revive area, and this is the nature trail area. Okay, so now I would like to rotate the camera for better view. Okay, so forest revive is actually a space where the users will get an experience where a modern touch or a friendlier touch is given in how do I say, a restricted area like a forest. We can't easily access a forest, but when we propose a friendly type of hint on the design for the site, it actually enables people to engage with the forest and also the river itself. So the forest revive is actually a platform, a decking, a pavement with seating, and then follow up with the decking which is a bit more higher than the pavement, with some trees. This is the Brownia grandisite tree to provide shade for people when they walk. And this is a deck, actually people can walk around and get the view and get the fresh air and some adventure when the ground level actually changes from the lower part to a higher altitude. Now this is the space where people will gather to actually participate in an activity which is a bit more adventurous for visitors who will come. So this is actually a connector from the forest revive to the nature trail area. So this is actually a canopy walk proposed to connect both the areas, and this particular activity is only for the ones with normal capability. Anyway, by the way, the circulation around this whole master plan is actually doesn't has any staircase. It only has a ramp type of feature. It's for the purpose of the universal design, to cater the needs of the disabled and the challenge. So coming back to this part of these are actually notes, okay, notes with the pokok pulai in the middle. So the note is actually surrounding the trunk of the tree, and its main is from the forest revive area. So from this space we are connecting to the other spaces, and the users can move in this triangular motion to have an adventurous experience and also engage themselves with the forest while having a view towards the greenery and also the other spaces around. So these nodes are built depending on the trees, and nothing of its support system is touching the ground. And the trees proposed around this area is actually from the initial planting. I thought that maintaining them would give a better forest type of approach, but there are also other trees that I proposed, like the Samania Saman and palms and so on and so forth. Okay, so moving on to the next space, which is the nature trail. Nature trail can be accessed from the Green Infant via the primary and secondary circulation, and it just moves into the space. Okay, nature trail is something very interesting. It can be approached by users by bicycle, by foot, or by wheelchair also. It's wheelchair friendly. So it is around the same ground level, no difference in that. It's flat, and it actually helps people to get over the river without getting wet or without getting an insecure feeling of falling down. So I feel that this is one of the feature or space that engages people really well and really close to the river, or I would call the gemstone, the emerald. So people learn to appreciate more the nature found in that space, and this is one of the area where the biodiversity of this Kuyoh river is actually potential to be maintained, because I didn't propose any much new design to this area, so the existing ecosystem can be maintained. So let's move forward, okay, coming from that area, and let's move on to the more interesting parts of the site. Now this space in the green infant itself, you can notice that there's a lot of trees, and actually walking through this path, this is the ficus lyrata tree, and walking through this path would give a more calm and soothing experience to the users. And if you notice, there are a lot of benches here and there in the circulation to enable visitors to have rest. It's like a rest and go policy, and all the benches are not short, they are very long. Now it's the pandemic period, so we have to consider social distancing in our designing as well. So this is my first time doing this, so I hope it makes sense. Okay, so moving forward, okay, this is actually the green infant. So this is actually a more common type of spaces, just it's designed in a way where it could engage people with nature of the Kuyoh river. So this is moving towards actually the focal point. So this is actually the lawn, small lawn proposed. It's called the lush. Okay, so the lush elegance is actually a lawn which is facing towards the opposite side of the site. The view can be accessed towards the main parking, the green infant, and also the focal point. Later we will come to it later. And this lawn is actually a multi-purpose lawn. It can be used for picnics, for children to play around, and there's no specific activity for any age group to be carried out over there, but I'm just listing some common activities that can be carried out. And there's some trees there, the Terminalia mentally tree, and some shrubs. And we shall move on to the focal point. This is the focal point. It's called the forest home. Okay, so to get access to the forest home is actually a long ramp from the ground level, okay, towards the focal point. This feature is actually around 12 meters above ground level. It is actually a space where people can walk around or have a seat to talk to each other, and it's a nice place where you can get a view towards the whole of the site. So different ground levels give different type of experience to the users, because as we saw just now, the canopy walk cannot be approached by the disabled, but this one can cater the needs for the disabled, when they can go for high altitude and take a visit, and they can go back down and continue their journey towards the other spaces. Okay, so moving on, this is one of the interesting part of the site. It is called the Gem Cafe. This is called the Gem Cafe, and it is in a very unique way, where it is environmental friendly. It is based on solar power, and it also connects its path to the other side of the site, which is this is the Emerald View Eatery. So the cafe is for very minimal type of meals, socializing purpose, and also people can carry out their office work or any group discussions, very suitable for students and any type of people from any group, so they can, you know, spend their time here. And this is a few trees. This is the Phylicium decipiens tree, and actually there are hammocks in between the trees. The hammocks are for relaxation purpose. I think it really goes well with the cafe, the setting of the cafe. So yeah, and there's a dual connection here, one which is going towards the Gem View, the Emerald View Eatery, and another one going towards other spaces. So I think I will take the secondary connection first. And we have the Weeping Willow tree here, actually serves a good visual for this particular space. Okay, alright, I'll turn like this. Okay, so this part here is left empty for a purpose. So when you're walking and you don't find anything, you will feel boring. So when they see this part coming up, a sense of excitement and an urge to know and curiosity comes. So this is actually a rest area for people to relax or continue their journey to the next space. These are actually berms of turf, and I have proposed the Terminalia mentally variegated, which is actually has a lighter color and a more contemporary type of appearance. So I proposed that tree for this space, and there are actually benches here. Yeah, so it connects itself with the berm, so people can actually rest and go. It's a good space to relax, or if you want to carry out any own task or anything with a nice view towards the other part of the site. Yes, it's a good space. So it goes along until we come to this part. It's one of my favorite parts from this site, and it's called the Kuyoh Community Resurrection. I'll explain one by one. Okay, so the entrance is greeted by some Bismarckian silver palms. It's a very elegant type of palm, one of my favorite, and greeted along with the jacaranda trees right here. And this is actually an agrobis area where I'll explain that later. Okay, so moving forward, so these are actually plots for the residents to carry out gardening. Now when we went around the neighborhood to ask and find out what they actually want and how to utilize the space, some of them have actually given the opinion of having a community gardening space for all of them. So this space is particularly designed for them, and there's no specific irrigation method. Now I will explain why, because I proposed a few small basils here to collect rainwater, and people can get their rainwater from there to go to their plots. Now why I didn't install an irrigation method is just to bring the human out of people, everybody. How do I say, actually when we don't have something of our own, we actually try to communicate with people. So let's say person A comes and he is doing his work here, and person B comes and person B's water runs out, and he asks person A, can I have some water from you because mine has run out? And their communication actually starts, and people start making friends. Now during this era, people are very reserved and not wanting to make friends, and actually exposed much to their phones and gadgets, and communication, eye-to-eye communication is very less. So I think this concept will actually, help people to communicate with each other and make the neighborhood more lively and share strong bonds with each other. There's a hedge here just for security purpose. And yes, this is the maintenance and garage. People can get some tools. Okay, so we will go where we started. Okay, we started at the Jam Cafe. So let's take the primary circulation here. Okay, so this is the Emerald View Eatery. So people can actually have their meals and approach to the river without getting wet. So this is the restaurant. Going forward, this is the actually the second car park. By the way, I have also proposed a parking for the disabled people from also at the main parking and also the secondary parking, and there is also parking for motorcycles and bicycles, which is called the Reawakening Journey. It starts from here. Yeah, it starts from here and it goes, and it actually ends at the Green Infant. I will show that later. Yeah, so this is a parking, and there is a deck which helps visitors to actually unwind and get a view and some fresh air. Right, okay, so moving forward, actually this parking is situated here just simply because visitors can get easy access to the next interesting space, which is called the Renaissance on the Kuyoh River. It's actually a pavilion, and we can have events in this spot. So this is actually a pond, yeah, and people can walk through some beautiful trees to greet the visitors. And there is also a lake view from the pavilion. So these are potential areas for them to have their events. And then from there we have a small garden here, which has 2 levels. This is the higher level. This is the higher level. Here is actually a decking with trees in the middle, and there's a something like a retaining wall here, so people can actually come from the pavilion to have a walk or get more of the experience of approaching the river. So that's it. So I mark this as the end of the site. So I have another thing to share also. So remember we were talking about the Reawakening Journey. It's actually the circulation served for normal pedestrian purpose and also for the bicycle. So it actually starts can start anywhere, but the main is actually over here, right under this overhead space. There's a space for bicycle parking, and there's another one here also. So these 2 spaces can be served as bicycle parking, and actually ends or begins at the secondary parking. So yeah, this is the site. Oh yeah, there's another space from the Gem View Eatery, Emerald View Eatery. It's actually a pergola with some beautiful climbers with vibrant colored flowers, something like the Quisqualis indica. These are also Felicium decipium tree. Okay, so it's a nice walk through the greenery, and then crossing towards the focal point, the Emerald home. And yes, coming back to the site, this is actually a ramp type of cable, and people can go back to their cars and exit the site. So this is the site in overall. Thank you everybody for spending your time to listen to my presentation, and also get to know what are the ideas I have worked on for this site. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my teacher, Dr. Shul. Thank you so much for guiding us all through this while. Because you ask us a lot of questions, especially me, I get to think a lot of things. During this pandemic, it's very hard for us to carry out studio activities, but um, you have done the best to guide us and do all what it takes to teach us, and I hope we have done our best as students. So thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.